ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि. We can see the four streams of Bhagavad Gita, which is broadly given by Sri Vivekananda. As such, we can't see any categorization as per our Vedic tradition. But to have the common understanding of Gita to the common people, Vivekananda extracted these four main streams and projected to the universe. But the main streams of Veda classifies only as Jnana Kanda as well as Karma Kanda. But each and every people is different here. They have their own nature. They have carried their own sanskaras. Accordingly, his nature, they will choose their own path for the path of spiritual upliftment. Till now we have recited the collected 18 verses from different chapters of Bhagavad Gita, that is Bhakti Yoga. If you analyze the word Bhakti, the etymology, the root says Bhaja Seva, Bhaja Sevane. That means one has to be contemplated on any deity continuously, provided with the imagination of any deity of his own, Bhaja Seva. So at the beginning stage, it may not be possible for a devotee to contemplate on any particular deity. But as he continues the practice, it is possible to imbibe or inculcate the same habit into his daily life. The path of Bhakti gives a beautiful way to understand as well as to realize the Saguna Sakshatkara, and ultimately it leads to Nirguna Sakshatkara. The beginning step we can observe in the first shloka itself what we have chanted, Artho Jignasi Artharthi Jnani. The four divisions of bhaktas, the four categories of the devotees, that is Arthaha, Jignasuhu, Artharthi and Jnani. So among these, the first one will be always Artharthi. We can say each and every man or a human being, we perform the activities with some expectation, that is in terms of artha. Artha means wealth, it may be any kind. So here the artharthi will do all the actions only for the sake of the health as well as the wealth, more and more. Jignasu just is a curiosity to know what it is. And the Jnani is one who wanted to achieve the ultimate and final goal through the path of Bhakti. But at the beginning step, if you observe the Bhakti, it starts with Kama. Kama, the desire. But as we know, all the desires leads to dukkha only, sufferings. So if you are able to overcome the Kama with the sacrifice, as Patanjali says in the Yama part, Ishvara Pranidhana. Ishvara Pranidhana is one aspect where we perform all the duties, activities, but at the same time we offer to the ultimate reality. Being the feeling of the body or the instrumental cause, we offer everything to that ultimate reality. Without that Chaitanya or Purusha, we can't execute any actions. So as you perform any actions, we have to surrender our actions or the fruits of the actions to the ultimate reality. This becomes Ishvara Pranidhana. That's what the beginning stages of Bhakti also says. Whatever the desire you have, whatever the actions we perform, it should be completely surrendered or sacrifice. Tyaga. We have to do the tyaga or the sacrifice of our action as well as the result. Otherwise, parallelly we develop the concept of ego that I am doing, I am the performer. Once it develops, it will lead to certainly the buddhinasha pranashyati, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 2nd chapter. If you don't do the Ishvara Pranidhana of all actions, certainly it leads us to the destruction or perishment. So, once we offer these actions or the desires, or if we convert these desires into sacrifice, most of the people, those who have renunciated and dedicated themselves for the service of society or the country or any community, if they do the actions without expectation anything, it becomes prema. Once you sacrifice the action as well as the fruits of the action, it becomes prema. Kama to prema, it's a pure love. It's a pure purity without expecting anything. Even that prema should be transcended to further step called as bhakti. When the bhakti can happen with the prema, with the pure love, if you are able to surrender yourself, prapatti bhava, sharanagati bhava, once you surrender yourself, there you become a bhakta, a real devotee. You never think of the second step at all. You completely surrender your body, the prana, the mind and the intellect. You will be no more, you have no more existence to think of yourself. Once you surrender, if you have the surrendering feeling, then it becomes bhakti. And one who surrenders himself, he becomes a bhakta. So in this sense, we can see lot of examples from our mythology or the Puranas. Even if you consider the Prahlada, the son of Hiranyakashipu, we might have seen the movies or we might have gone through the Purana or we might have gone through the stories and all. The Prahlada is one, he has developed that kind of a prema as well as bhakti, and he could able to see the Lord Vishnu, the Narayana in each and every particle and article. That was the attitude of a real bhakta. If someone says I am practicing bhakti yoga, that doesn't mean that we practice some bhajans or we do some japa at a specified time. No. Each and every moment he should have that feeling. Each and every moment he should able to see his own respective deity. That's what Prahlada we can see in his history. Whatever the problems given to Prahlada by his own father Hiranyakashipu, he could overcome. How? Because once you surrender, the surrendering itself, the God takes care. If a guru says, jump into the river, I will give you the moksha. If you think whether should I jump or not, then you are not a devotee or a bhakta. You can't think of the second thought, no. Immediately, at the next moment, we must be ready to surrender whatever Guru says. So that was a prapatti bhava here. So to develop this kind of bhakti, to develop this kind of attitude, one must feel or one must go for the continuous practice. Otherwise, it is not possible at all. Even in Gita says, Krishna says, Yajnanam Japayajnosmi. To develop a simple kind of bhakti, to follow the path of bhakti, very simple way is to to go for the japa. Yajnanam japa yajñosmi. He says, among all kind of yajnas, sacrifices, the japa yajna stands supreme. Even Krishna himself presents the different kinds of yajna in the 4th chapter. Dravya yajna, tapo yajna, yoga yajna, tata pare, swadhyaya jnana yajnascha. Even though he represents 5 kinds of yajnas like dravya yajna, tapo yajna, yoga yajna, swadhyaya yajna and jnana yajna. Among all these 5 yajnas, Krishna himself says, Yajnanam japa yajñosmi. I am the supreme. I stand at the most in the japa yajna. So one who takes the repetition of name of any deity, it becomes japa. That japa lead him to the real bhakti, and at the end it merges with the sharanagati or the prapatti bhava. So this is the simple way to develop the bhakti. Even Shankaracharya says, moksha sadhana samagrim bhaktireva gareyasi. Even in his Viveka Chudamani, even though he has given the Advaita Vedanta, a profound commentary, even though he has mentioned among all paths, the bhakti is the very simple path to lead us to moksha. Bhakti reva gariyasi, he says. That's why to become a bhakta, to develop a kind of that bhakti, one should go for the recitation of the name of any deity, whichever you feel good and comfortable. So that's what Krishna presents in Bhakti Yoga. If one goes with the repetition or recitation of the name, it leads to Saguna Sakshatkara, as Prahalada realized Lord Vishnu, the Dhruva, all these people realize their own respective deity, and they will transcend even the Saguna Rupa, and they will reach to Nirguna Rupa or Nirguna Sakshatkara. That's what Patanjali says, Kaivalya. That's what Buddha says, Nirvana. So in this sense, the Yajnanam Japayajñosmi, what we say, that Yajna as a Japa, if we continue, we can reach the state of Nirguna Sakshatkara. So what is the simple way to follow then? As Patanjali himself says, the Yajna or the japa must be on some particular aspect, what it is. Tad japaha tadartha bhavanam tasya vachakaha pranavaha. So the japa is nothing else but it is omkara. Tad japaha tadartha bhavanam tasya vachakaha pranavaha. What is that omkara, that pranava? That means the sound. If we have to become a bhakta or a real devotee, one has to go for the recitation of continuously the omkara or the pranava by continuous anusandhana. That's what Patanjali says. That's what even Krishna says, Om iti ekaksharam brahma vyaharan mamanusmaran. O La Krishna Arjuna, please keep on reciting, chanting on omkara, because that omkara is nothing but Brahman, that nothing but me itself. So even the Upanishad says the same thing. So all the Upanishads, starting from the Vedas, all the Darshanas, all the Yoga Shastra, gives most importance for the japa of Omkara. So in this way, a devotee can become a real bhakta and can develop the bhakti to have the Saguna Sakshatkara as well as to lead into Nirguna Sakshatkara. This is the simple way to become a bhakta as a devotee, by following the recitation of Omkara every day. So let us be blessed by the God Himself to become the great bhaktas, and let us follow our path of spirituality. Close your eyes. Sit erect. Just imagine the beautiful image of Om as well as the sound of the Om. Now let us chant Omkara for 5 times loudly, concentrating at the sound. Inhale deeply. Adopt Namaskara Mudra. Om Asato